Okay, so I'm going to be going through and talking about what I would say for each line item of the needs identification portion of the discovery role play. So, first off, for the decision making process, I could start off asking something simple like, what current system do you guys have, and how did you come about getting that system in the first place? And that's a great way to lead in later on to what problems have you been having with this system, but that's for the next portion. So for this one, how was your system implemented and who makes the decisions regarding technology? And that's a good way to start and kind of dig off and find out what Tony can do and who I really need to win over at the end of the day. So going into the next line item, determining relevant facts about the company, I could just ask some general questions like, how has your overall experience with AirIgnite been? Do you see any ways that there could be room for improvement? Or what successes have you guys had with AirIgnite? And just really probe and ask further more and more questions to get a better understanding about that. I could also build off of the CRM system based off of what Tony said in the last line item, the decision process. And then another thing I could go into is, how has your overall customer experience been, and how do you go about following up with your customers? And that kind of has to do with if they have a CRM system or not and how they go about doing that. So next is going to be going into getting an understanding about the dealership's challenges that they've been facing or any goals that they have. So without coming across too pushy, because it can seem a little pushy to be like, hey, how have you guys been struggling, and what are some goals that you guys have? Like, just getting in their face and saying that. I could kind of lead up into that a little bit and just be like, hey, I'm super interested in how your experience with our products have been and how that's affected your dealership as a whole. So I want to ask a couple questions about performance or any challenges that you guys have been facing. So tell me a little bit about any recent challenges that you guys feel like you might have been facing and ways that you feel like you could improve towards that. Or I could say, if there aren't a whole lot of challenges, I could say, okay, well, tell me a little bit about some goals that you guys have and what you think might be able to get you to take a step in the right direction towards those goals. And then based off of what he says, it's really just going to be tell me more, and it's going to be a case-based response to just probe and find out more and more about that. And then next would be exploring the implications of those problems. So this one's really just going to be, so how do you think that blank, the problems that you've been facing, has affected the dealership as a whole? And really just finding out that underlying motive that Tony has and that the dealership has as a whole. And then just asking if there could be any room for improvement surrounding this. Finally, gaining a basic understanding of the problems uncovered and then a pre-commitment to move on to the product presentation. I could say something like, from my understanding, blank has been occurring recently, which would be the problem that he mentioned they've been struggling with. And this has been causing blank to happen. And that's the implication. So I'm really just reiterating back to him that I was listening and that I want to solve these issues that Champion Ford has been struggling with. And then I could move into saying, well, if there were a system that would blank solve this problem that you've been dealing with and integrate seamlessly with your current system, AirIgnite, would you be interested in learning more about it? And obviously the answer to that would be yes. So that's it for this portion.